Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you 5 easy Frozen inspired DIY / jewellery accessories that you can make yourself. Here they all are. We have some hair slides, a keyring, bracelet, necklace and an Olaf jewellery holder. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to make are the hair slides. So what you need for that is first of all some shrink plastic, and I use shrink plastic that I get from Amazon. It's quite cheap to get hold of. You get about 10 in a packet for about £5. And I first of all roughed it up. That doesn't mean I beat it up. I used my nail file to sand it down so it would take some pencils, but if you want to use Sharpies or markers you don't have to rough it up first, you can just use Sharpies straight on there. But I like to use colour pencils, so I used a nail file to make the surface a bit rougher so the pencils would grip. I also drew the designs onto some paper and put it underneath because the plastic I've used is see-through, so that's quite handy. I drew one Elsa and one Anna headshot, and then I went over the top of them with my Prismacolor pencils. The one thing you do need to bear in mind with shrink plastic is that when it bakes in the oven it shrinks, obviously, because it's called shrink plastic, but also the colours get darker, so you do need to not over darken your shadows when you're at this stage, and they do look a little bit weird at the moment. It did take a while for me to get the faces right, and it does look a little bit patchy, but don't worry too much if your colours are a bit patchy. That can happen when you sand down the shrink plastic, but when it bakes in the oven the patchiness will go away. So once I had done both of the faces, I then coloured around in the circle. I drew the circle underneath. I didn't draw it onto the shrink plastic. I coloured the circle background in with a light blue colour, and then I cut them out. I just wanted to say before I get into the rest of the DIY while I am colouring in Elsa here, that I do want to still do DIY videos in January when YouTube goes through its changes, but I probably won't be doing any more Disney theme ones or Pokemon theme ones for a while, just until YouTube, the whole YouTube thing evens itself out and we can get a feel for how it's going to be, because I don't want my comments disabled because I really like interacting with you guys. So I do still want to do DIYs, but probably won't be doing any Disney ones for the moment. So this is why I'm releasing this one now. And also because the film is also released this week, and I thought that would be a good time to release it because there will be quite a bit of hype on Frozen. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Let me know in the comments below who your favourite Frozen character is. I love Olaf. I think he's great and hilarious. So once I had finished, I cut them out. You can cut them out with normal scissors. I do have 2 bits of scissors here. I have a normal pair of scissors and a bit of a finer pointed scissors because it does help get around the circle edges better, because shrink plastic, it's quite difficult to cut out. I find it quite difficult and it's quite delicate. It's harder to cut out than paper, so that is why I have 2 pairs of scissors. So just be careful when you are cutting it out. When you have cut out your shrink plastic, you need to put it in the oven and follow the instructions on your shrink plastic packaging. It's all a little bit different. Mine is 3 minutes at 160 degrees centigrade. I think I'm thinking about this off the top of my head. I don't actually know offhand, but I think that's how much it is. So once your shrink plastic has shrunk, you can finish it off with some glitter nail varnish. I added some silver glitter nail varnish in the blue circle area around the heads because I thought that would look like a nice sparkly wintry scene because it's Frozen and it's wintry. And then I finished off both of the pieces with some clear nail varnish too. You can use resin, but my resin's a bit old and I was worried it would bubble. And then I cut out 2 circles of felt and banded them together in the middle to create a little bow, and then I stuck on the shrink plastic with some hot glue onto some plain hair slides, and that's how to do it. You can sew the bows, but I'm a little bit scarred from sewing my previous project, so I didn't sew them. I just used the bands, but sewing probably would be better. So this is how they turned out. So for the next DIY, I'm going to show you how to make the Olaf jewellery holder. For this you need 3 different size stones. You can get these from your own garden, from garden centres, from the beach. Just make sure you wash them first before you start painting on them. And for this I painted the tops of them white. I didn't paint the whole of it white because I thought it would look more cartoony that way. And once I painted them white, I'm using white acrylic paint by the way, And once I had painted them white, I drew on Olaf's little buttons, his eyes, his eyebrows, his big smiley goofy face, and I painted his carrot nose with some orange acrylic. And this is really quick because acrylic dries really quick, so this is a nice quick and easy project for you. And the reason why I did him across 3 different stones is because you can rearrange the stones to make him into different shapes, because in the film his body kind of dismantles and he arranges himself into different shapes. So there he is all together. And I did stick a pipe cleaner onto the back of the smallest stone in his middle and bent them into his little hands, because then they act as little jewelry stands, as you will see right now. You can hook some rings on, you can lay your hair slides on him, and he's just a fun little addition to your dressing table. So now I'm going to show you how to make the keychain. So for this DIY you will need some hammer beads or perler beads, you know, the beads that you put on a little border and then you iron them. And you need to make a snowflake pattern, and these are really searchable online. You can just Google hammer bead snowflake pattern. I only had a square one. I think it does work a bit better on a circle pegboard or even a hexagonal pegboard, so if you have those, that's probably easier, but you can do it on just the normal square one. So I am doing the snowflake in the white perler beads and then filling in the space. I eventually filled in the spaces with the blue because I thought that would look better. I did try adding some purple and some silver, but it just looked a little bit too much, so I just did a simple white snowflake with the blue around it. And once you have your pattern in place and you are happy with it, you then need to iron your design. You can use some greaseproof paper. I used the paper that came with the beads because I bought some more beads recently, and usually the little packets do have the little bit of iron-proof paper, and that is usually better than the greaseproof paper, but you can use that if that's all you have. So here's me trying to add some silver, but then I changed my mind and decided to use the blue instead. But you can use whatever colours you like. You can make it an Anna coloured one, so that would be some more purples and darker blues and silvers, or you could just go for Elsa colours, which I did. I used white and a nice light blue. And yeah, so once you have got your design all done on the board, you carefully move it to the ironing board without dropping it all over the floor. I actually didn't do that this time, but I have been known to do that in the past, so be careful, not just of the iron, but of dropping your beads all over the floor. So once you have ironed your snowflake, you can attach it to a jump ring and then attach that to a keychain. This was already a keychain with a little bit of chain on it, which I got from Wish because I am addicted to Wish. So I got those from Wish. You get quite a lot in a bag, and I just added it to that, and there you have a nice and easy snowflake keyring. So the next DIY I'm going to show you is a little message in a bottle necklace. So I'm writing a quote from Frozen, one of my favourite and most well-known quotes, "Do you want to build a snowman?" because whenever I hear that quote I start singing the song. So I wrote it on a piece of paper, cut it out quite small, make sure you write it quite small on a piece of paper, cut it out and roll it up and put it into one of those little jars with a cork. As you can see, that's one of those little jars with a cork, and mine has a jump ring already attached to it. I got these from Tiger, but you can get these little jar bottles in most craft shops, and you can attach your own jump ring with some hot glue if it doesn't have a jump ring already attached to it. So I'm just adding some little sequins into this jar now, and also some glitter. I use a nice light blue glitter, the same colour as the blue of the beads, and also the colour of Elsa's dress. And I also am adding some little white pom-poms to act as snowballs. And once you have added everything you wish to add into the little jar, it's quite important that you seal it with some hot glue. So you put some hot glue around the cork before you put it in and give it a little shake up, and there you will have a nice secure necklace so the glitter won't go everywhere. And here it is after it has been attached to a nice silvery cord, and I think this looks really pretty, and it's just a nice little gift for someone. So you might recognise this last DIY from my Toy Story DIY videos, and that is to make a bracelet set based off the characters. So I chose 4 different characters and made a bracelet to match each of their colour scheme. So at the moment I am making an Olaf bracelet. I'm just using some beading elastic and some beads because I have a lot of beads. This probably isn't even half of my bead collection. But anyway, I am making an Olaf bracelet and I am using white, black and gold / orangey colour for his carrot, and I'm just making a repeating pattern of these colours. And to tie off each bracelet I am using buttons because I really like tying off bracelets with buttons because it hides the big horrible knot that you have to tie. I'm not very good at hiding it otherwise, so I think buttons make it a little bit unique, and plus it hides the big horrible knot. So as well as Olaf, I did an Elsa one, so I used different blues and whites to make it look like Elsa's dress, more like her dress from the first film than the second film. So I did one for Anna too. I used purple, blue and pink beads for this because she is a little bit more colourful than her sister. And I also did a Sven one because I couldn't not include Sven in this because he is just super funny. So I did a golden one with a little bit of purpley red that he wears around his like straps, his straps that attach reins to. So I thought that would be cute as well. And once I had finished all of my 4 bracelets, I tied them up with a ribbon and added a nice little charm. And I did do this in my Toy Story video for different Toy Story characters, so I will leave a link for that up above in the card and down below, so you can go and check out what characters I did my bracelets for when I did my Toy Story one. So here are all of the DIYs together again. Do let me know in the comments below which one was your favourite, and do tag me in any social media posts if you try them out for yourself. And if you like this video, emotionally, please do leave it a like down below as that really does help me out. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.